Hey guys, this is Statton. Welcome to another Heart to Heart with Statton. Today I'll be discussing one of my childhood movies, which is very popular to this very day, as far as I know. It's Aladdin, the animated version. Actually, you know something? I'm gonna kind of go a little back and forth between that and the live action one because it not not really to compare which one is better because I favor the animated version, but most well, it'll make more sense because the thing I would like to focus on when it comes to that movie is actually the genie himself and the power in which he possesses. You see, what confuses me is Aladdin's first wish was to become a prince so that he, within Agrabah's laws, could marry the princess. But after his wish is granted, you would think, okay, he's a prince. Except they talk about him. I mean, both he and the genie act as though, despite the genie granting his wish, he's still not a prince. This kind of give. I mean, yeah, we see as the genie grants his wish, he gives him royalty like clothing. But they still talk about him as if he's not a prince. Well, I'm confused. And this is where I could definitely use your thoughts and opinions, which you could leave down in the comment section. And that is is the genie does is his powers not real? Is it just an illusion in the end? I'm asking this because in the end, I can't help but wonder because did the genie make him a prince, or did he just give him royalty clothes and said, "There you go, you're technically a prince now"? Even the genie didn't correct Aladdin on this. Now we know the genie is bound by three rules. Now this is the Disney version, because in the original book of Aladdin, the genie and Aladdin never really formed a friendship like bond. The genie was just always summoned to do Aladdin's bidding. And in the original book, the genie wasn't limited to just three wishes. The wishes were infinite, but for reasons of developing like a friendship like bond, not to mention Aladdin giving more depth to the storyline, Disney decided to shorten the wishes down to just simply three wishes. We know that he could not kill beings of any kind, and that he couldn't make people fall in love nor bring life back to the dead. And it's debatable if he could actually give more than three wishes if you wish for them. He did say ex nay on the wishing for more wishes, but did not list that in the rules which he was bound to keep. So, no way of knowing if that was an official rule or if that was just him speaking his mind against it. Now, unfortunately, due to the fact that Jafar kidnapped Aladdin and had him cast out to drown, Aladdin's second wish, which I highly question if that was really a wish, because I mean the live action version tried to cover over that and make it seem more legit, but I still question it. And that is his second wish was used to save his life. Well, anyways, because of that, we don't actually get to see the genie demonstrate real power to see if his magic is real or not yet. I mean, yeah, we see him do magical things, obviously, but up to this point, it's almost like his wish granting powers is treated more like a facade or an illusion, mind you. I've kind of figured if Aladdin wished to be a prince, he's a prince because the genie granted it. He didn't have to be born and raised as one, but that's not how they were treating it, not even how the genie treated it. In fact, even in the live action one, he even says that a genie's magic is more like a facade, and even saying, "I only changed you on the outside. I did nothing on the change you on the inside." And he also stated that eventually people will see the real you. I would like to stop to cover over the fact that the second wish was used to save Aladdin's life really quick, and that is the cover over the genie got Aladdin out of the cave without it being an official wish, and yet said that he couldn't cheat on getting Aladdin out of his life and death situation. Why is that? Aladdin, I mean, yeah, the genie was tricked the first time. That much is true. But if the genie could literally not cheat on something, wouldn't his magic or wouldn't the curse of the lamp, as Jafar put it in The Return of Jafar, bind the genie and make it so he could not get Aladdin out of the cave because it wasn't an official wish? But it didn't. The genie, with his own magic and without it being an official wish, got him out of the cave. So shouldn't it stand to reason that the genie should just have been able to pick up Aladdin and lift him up out of the water without that being an official wish? That's where I get a little confused. But that's once again something to be left for all of you to mention in the comment section. Now, after that, Jafar obtains the lamp, and his first wish is to become Sultan, which is not that different from Aladdin's wish of becoming a prince, because it seems like all the genie does is just remove the Sultan's clothing and give it to Jafar. And other than that, everybody still treated Jafar as if he wasn't the Sultan. This kind of backs up the whole theory that the genie's magic may have been, in fact, an illusion or a facade. But wait, something happens not too long after that blows that theory completely out of the water. Jafar wishes to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world as his second wish. What do you know? The genie grants it, and that's not treated like an illusion or a fake or smoke and mirrors, for lack of a better way of putting it. For Jafar not only regains his sorcerer's staff, the snake staff, as it's called, but you then see him actually using magic that he did not use beforehand, thus implying he didn't have that kind of magic before. And he even used his magic to undo Aladdin's wish by restoring him to his true form, and even did the same thing to Abu, turning him back from an elephant into a monkey. So, okay, how come when Aladdin wished to be a prince, it wasn't official? He wasn't treated like he was officially a prince. But when Jafar wishes to be the most powerful sorcerer in the world, okay, that's real. That's legit. That's a real wish. He really is one. I'm having a hard time understanding that. And what's more, and I'm going to say this part, and then I'm going to move on to the next movie really quick, is Jafar also wishes to be an all-powerful genie. And even before the live-action movie tried to emphasize it, I always believed Jafar was a more powerful genie than the Robin Williams genie, because simply for the fact that Jafar said he wished not just to be a genie, but an all-powerful genie. He was a genie with infinite power, which is a power that even Aladdin's genie did not possess. Oh yeah, his power was phenomenal cosmic powers, but even Jafar's powers as a genie surpassed that of Aladdin's genie. Now, if you have seen the sequel, The Return of Jafar, you'll notice that the genie, after he was wished free at the end of the first movie, they ask him, what's it like to be free? How does it feel for him to be free? And he says he loves it, but then goes on to explain how his powers are not what they used to be. He gives off all these examples showing that he has magic, he still is a genie, but he's not as powerful as he used to be. In fact, even in Jafar's time where he and the genie were actually battling it out, where the genie was literally doing nothing to Jafar, but Jafar was completely owning him. Jafar was having a song moment where he was singing, and the line, he always returned to the one line where it says, "You're only second rate." Now, a lot of people believe because the genie was weaker, being free, that was why Jafar was more powerful than the genie. While it didn't help the genie at all to be that he was weaker, I do not believe that was the main reason Jafar was more powerful than the genie. I believe even if the genie was still bound to his lamp, to where he had to serve a master, and his powers were still phenomenal and cosmic, he wouldn't have fared any better in that fight with Jafar. Because, once again, the genie was powerful. But no matter how powerful you are, when you stand up to a being with infinite power, your power is as nothing. So it is in fact confirmed in The Return of Jafar, and from that point beyond, that the genie is no longer as powerful as he was back when he was lamp bound. So this begs one other question in regards to the Return of Jafar. Before I get to that part, I'd also like to say in the live action version, when the genie is wished free, he's actually made completely human. He's no longer a genie and has no magic at all. Yet another reason why I prefer the animated version. But now getting back to the other question, if Aladdin's genie was made weaker as a result of him being free, Jafar's main thing at the end of the second one, The Return of Jafar, was for him to be wished free, because he said at the very beginning, because as he was set free from his lamp, not wished free, but I mean released after Ava Small rubbed the lamp, he tried to fly to Agrabah directly, but then his shackles started to glow, and suddenly he realized he couldn't move from his spot. And he said, "This is the curse of the lamp, all the powers in the universe, and I'm bound by the rules of the genie." If Jafar were wished free from his lamp, would he be made weaker just as Aladdin's genie? I don't believe so, for two reasons. One, I was talking to my wife about this, and I said, from us watching all three movies together, what is it about the genie after he's set free that seems weaker? What powers did he have back in the first Aladdin movie that he no longer possesses in the movies after? And after a moment of thinking, she actually said something. I think she hit the nail right on the head. and that the reason the genie's was more powerful is because he had the wish granting ability, and since you're bound to obey your master and grant any wish they desire as long as it didn't break the three rules, the whole killing, falling in love, and raising the dead, the genie would actually have the power to grant that very wish, even if it seemed like it was beyond their normal genie-like powers. And I think that is actually true. And Jafar is also an example of that. For the genie granted, when he granted Jafar's final wish, he created a being far more powerful than himself, even. Now, that doesn't seem like it makes much sense how a genie can create another genie and make that genie more powerful than him, except for it's a wish-granting power, a power that they lose when they are set free. After that, they still remains as a spirit, but other than that, they keep their normal genie powers, but without the wish granting power, that's where they're weakened. So, for that reason, I think Jafar, the reason I don't think he would become weaker is because, let's use a point system temporarily. Let's say Aladdin's genie had his power was worth 5,000 points when he was lamp bound, and while this isn't an accurate scaling here, it'll still prove the point regardless. Let's say the genie loses half of his power just by being set free. Well, so now he has only 2,500 points. But Jafar, who has infinite points, that's the scaling of his power. What is infinity divided by 2? It's still infinity. So for that reason, he would lose some of his maybe like the wish granting ability, but that doesn't take away from the fact that he still has infinite power, which means when you take a being with infinite power who's also a spirit, which that is what Jafar is, so he can't die from old age or age at all for that matter. But if he were set free, he'd have infinite power and he wouldn't be bound by those 3 rules, and he would definitely be a force to be reckoned with. Especially due to the fact that and this is spoilers for those who have not seen The Return of Jafar, which I imagine most of you that have seen the Aladdin movies have seen that one, but just in case, if you don't want to hear it, I'd suggest watching the movie before continuing on with this. But Aladdin's genie reveals that if you destroy the very object, aka the lamp, in which the genie is bound to, it will in turn destroy the genie itself. However, because Aladdin's genie was set free, I think if you were to destroy Genie's lamp, it wouldn't do anything to him. He was set free from it. So if Jafar had been wished free before his lamp was destroyed, it wouldn't have done anything to him. I think that much is obvious. So, if he had been wish free, he would have been able to resume the very part where he was starting to celebrate his infinite power and saying the universe was his to command. And this time, he wouldn't be pulled into a lamp, and he wouldn't be bound to serve a master. And without the 3 rules binding him, he would be able to do things like raise the dead, force people to fall in love with him, and even kill. Which, I will point out, as much as I love the movies, I'm not afraid to point out their flaws. Because Jafar waited until he thought Aladdin was dead to have him wished free. I would have had the guy that set him... If I were Jafar, I would have had the guy that set me loose wish me free from the beginning. Grant him the first 2 wishes, have him wish free, and then nothing could have stopped Jafar. Not that I'm rooting for the villain. That's not what I'm saying at all. Now, so there we go. We've touched on three subjects, sort of three subjects, in regards to Aladdin, and they're all bound to the genie himself. Why could he? Why could he not cheat? Even as simple as getting Aladdin out of the water when he simply did it in the cave, even though he did it not knowingly. The fact that he still did it cave wise means it could in fact be done. What wasn't Aladdin a prince when the genie granted it? And if not, why was Jafar a real sorcerer and a real genie after his wishes? It just these things I like to think about. Where is the limits to a genie's wish granting power aside from the three rules that are mentioned? And also, I'm interested in knowing when you take away, and I agree, I believe what made the genie weaker was the fact that his wish granting powers were removed from him. But when you do remove the wish granting powers, how much weaker is the genie compared to how he used to be? Do you, when you watch all three movies and then watch the first one, then watch the two after that, is his decline in power that noticeable? I mean, obviously it's hard to ignore. It was stated as such, but if the genie hadn't said any of those things, would we have noticed by watching him demonstrate his magic that he just seemed weaker? That part I often wonder about. Now I now that I've covered over those points, I will say that Aladdin when I was a kid was one of my favorite movies. Still, I still enjoy it. But when you watch things like that as an adult, you tend to wonder there are better ways that they could have gone about writing it. Although I do love Robin Williams' humor, he will always be the true genie of Aladdin, as far as I'm concerned. No offense, Will Smith. No offense at all, but that Robin Williams is a treasure to the animated movie, and I'll always favor that movie. So I guess I'm reaching out to you, the viewers, now. Now that you know my thoughts, you know what my wife thinks, and on the whole wish granting ability. What are your thoughts? Do you believe Aladdin was a prince? Do you believe the genie could have in fact cheated and saved his life without Aladdin having to waste his second wish? Do you believe that Jafar would have remained just as powerful as he was had he had been wished free? And how much do you actually like the live action movie compared to the animated movie? And the final question, as I've already pointed out, how much or how much of the genie's powers did he lose, and is it noticeable when you see him use his powers? So there you go. This is where I will call it done. Remember also to post under my videos any subjects you want me to cover over. Rather if they be serious subjects. Rather if there's just like if you want me to share life experiences, or if you just want me to talk about other movies and want to know what my thoughts are, or if you have any questions on what I think of movies or anything life related, just let me know. Anyways, that's the video for today. I thank every single one of you for listening. My name is Statton. Like, share, and subscribe. And remember, you are not alone, and you have yourselves a wonderful day.